The night she went, I sat with her in what, for the last 3 weeks, had been Mum's room. There was a coffee table and 2 big easy chairs on either side, which sat by the window looking out onto the garden. All around the room, Mum had put her photos of Dad and me and Stephen and the plants she'd been encouraged to bring. I brought her a bowl of green grapes and tangerines, which she hadn't touched, and there was a telly and a CD player. It was never going to be featured in a lifestyle magazine, but it was homely and it suited Elsie. That night the room looked the same, but different. It was the same except her photos had been put on her bedside table beside her where she could see them. Someone had programmed a loop of cheesy new age music in the CD. A morphine drip was rigged and the bed was jacked up to its full height. It made it easy for the staff to work around her, and when the time came, easier for the nurses to roll her old body out onto a trolley and off to the mortuary. The time was coming. Within a few hours the room would be cleaned and cleared, ready to become another terminally ill patient's home from home. I sat holding her hand for a couple of hours and tried to read Women's Own while she slid in and out of consciousness. Reading was making me sleepy, so I gave up and took a tangerine from the fruit bowl. It looked okay when I lifted it, but it fell apart in my hand. White mould covered the underside. I'd only bought it 3 days ago along with the vodka, but the stifling heat of the hospice had turned it to rotten mush. A couple of times she looked as if she was away. Twice her chest stopped and then started again, sighing, a heavy death rattle. I was on my own with her most of the time. About 2 o'clock she started talking, gibbering in a panicky voice. She shouted, "Hughie!" my dad's name a few times. I called the nurse, but she said it was just the effects of the pain relief, nothing to be distressed about. 3 times, Mum said, "It's best all round," in between making gurgly noises at the back of her throat. "Mum, shh now, it's okay." She started again, but it was the same kind of thing. "It's as well to let it lie, isn't it, Hughie, isn't it?" Every word was an effort for her. I was raging. 2 years she'd had to sort things out, and now, when she only had a few minutes left with me, she was talking in riddles. I should have got to the bottom of it the other day, and then we wouldn't be having all this palaver now. I just wanted her not to fret, to be at peace. "It doesn't matter, Mum, whatever it is, I'll sort it, I promise." She was gripping my hand tightly, and when she spoke, she spat the words. I tried to ignore the spittle which dribbled between her intertwined hands. "No," she gasped. For a second it looked as though she was about to leap out the bed. "Over my dead body." She managed a smile and caught my eye to see if I'd got the joke. I was a bit shocked, but I smiled my recognition. She quietened down again for a while and got her breath back. I went back to Women's Own. An hour later, a faint movement caught my eye. Mum was weakly flapping her hand, beckoning me to her. I had no idea how long she'd been trying to attract my attention. As I bent over to catch her last words, she whispered, "Turn that bloody music off." Stephen came to the funeral and looked really smart. His dad came too, which I thought was a nice gesture, seeing as he and my mother hated each other's guts. She would have been proud of Stephen, though, as proud as I was. He was desperate to be a pallbearer, as I knew he would be. Mum had said no, worried that he'd drop her. In the end, I let him. It was his granny, and he had a right. All Mum's pals were amazed. "Is that your boy? What age is he now? 15? God, look at the height of him. 15 and nearly 6 feet. He's a lovely big lad, so he is." Mum's older sister was the living, breathing spit of her. They were almost exactly the same height and build.